I didn't read a whole lot of books in 2025, but I read some absolute bangers. So I'm just going to fly through them real quick. These are in chronological order. So I'm going through all the books I read. I did, like I said, I didn't read a lot. I think I only read about 11 or 12. I'm in the process of reading two at the moment. Yeah, I'll just fly through them real quick. I'm pure jumping on the end of the year bandwagon here. So yeah, great imagination from myself. But anyway, here we go. So first up, I read A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and I really enjoyed this. Very easy read, but very engaging. Kind of more on the fantasy side than her other stuff, which is kind of, I'd kind of class it as kind of anthropological sci-fi, like The Left Hand of Darkness and stuff like that, or what's the one about the anarchists? The Dispossessed, isn't it? But yeah, this is yeah, a nice easy read. Not too heavy. I kind of think it's probably aimed at young adults, possibly, but I definitely want to read more of this series. So I would, yeah, recommend it. Cover on this edition isn't great. It's a bit, I don't know, call a nothing cover is what I call these. Doesn't really have anything to do with the story. Maybe that kind of, yeah, no, I don't think it does. Anyway, yeah, that was a fun read. Then this is a great one, which was Richard Matheson's I Am Legend. Way better than I expected to be. Um, I'd seen the original, well, not the original movie, as in the Charlton Heston movie. What's it? The Omega Man, isn't it? And then the one with Will Smith in, which is called I Am Legend. And neither of them are particularly true to the novel. I think the only kind of movie adaptation which is kind of true is the one with Vincent Price in, which is an Italian production. I can't remember what it's called. It might be called I Am Legend as well. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, really, really great read. It's a short read. A lot of action and a lot of, yeah, post-apocalyptic stuff going on, and the ending is really great, and I don't want to spoil it, but well worth a read if you've not read it. Yeah, yeah, good stuff by Richard Matheson. Definitely highly recommend that. Next up then was I read the Book of the New Sun in two volumes on SF Masterworks. Yeah, this is my second time around reading this, and yeah, what a book! Like, I mean, I count it all as one book. It's we've got two in here, and yeah, so it's of the kind of four of the what's it my brain my brain four of the kind of installments of the story are in these two editions. They're on that kind of real thin kind of, I call it Bible paper. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, what a, like, I mean, I don't know what to say about this. It's just an epic and mind bending and puzzling and engaging. And I will be reading it again. And I do want to pick up The Earth of the New Sun. And I did listen last year to the kind of sequel, which is what is it kind of, the Book of the Long Sun, and then the Book of the Short Sun, I think. And they were really great. And they kind of really fill out the universe that Gene Wolfe built. Yeah, just what a deep kind of mythos that he created with these. So I don't know what else to say. Just, yeah, if you're into some very cerebral but easy to read and but at the same time puzzling, sci-fi, fantasy. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, check these out. Highly recommended. There's tons of videos out there on YouTube about this book, and I probably have nothing new to add. But yeah, I like the cover on the first one. It really relates to the very first chapter in the books. Second cover, yeah, I don't know. It's cool and all, but I don't really see how much it has to do with the story. But hey, it's all about the writing. Next up, then, so this was definitely possibly my favorite of the year. Was another Sci-Fi Masterworks edition. The Stars My Destination by Alfred Bester, and what an amazing story. I mean, this just had me gripped from, and it's a short enough read, but this had me gripped from start to finish. It's just what a wild ride. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, again, it's a classic, and yeah, and initially, like, I wasn't mad on the cover, but the more I read the book, actually, yeah, the cover kind of makes sense in a way. So kind of hats off to them somewhat. Obviously, I prefer the old school covers, but what a great read. Yeah, it's kind of aged a bit in parts, but I think it was written in the like late 50s, I think, possibly early 50s. See, I beg your pardon, 60s. I read Demolished Man by Bester as well, and I loved it. It was like, yeah, that's a crazy book. But yeah, what a writer. And the prose is really good. Very, yeah, there's no messing around. It's just like, yeah, it's a rollicking adventure, this one. And a lot of thought-provoking stuff in it as well, which is what sci-fi should be all about. So yeah, that was like, this is probably in the top three that I read this year. I really enjoyed reading this. Then next up, what do we got? Oh yeah, Arthur C. Clarke, The City and the Stars, another Sci-Fi Masterworks edition. Yeah, it's very Clarkian in that it's set in the very far future of humanity, and it's kind of, it poses a lot of questions about possibly where we're headed, and yeah, yeah, it's yeah, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't rank it in the top three, maybe, but definitely don't regret reading it. And yeah, artsy. He's a very kind of definitive style. Yeah, characterizations aren't great, but at the same time, it's about the ideas. And that's the thing about Clarke. He was a real ideas writer, if you know what I mean. And like, I think he uses writing as a way to kind of what's the word again? Kind of to game out theories and stuff, basically. Yeah, there's a word for that, or phrase that I can't remember because I'm stupid. But yeah, cover is a bit meh. Kind of has a bit to do with the story, but yeah, these Sci-Fi Masterworks ones, they just have these kind of generic covers, which are, I guess, they're CGI, but they're not the worst. Next up then was, oh yeah, Fred Poe. Really enjoyed this. The Other End of Time, and I didn't realize this seems to be part of a series that he wrote, but this is the first one in the series. This is a lot of fun. Like, I mean, yeah, when you start reading this, it's set in the kind of near enough future, with this guy who's kind of down on his luck. But yeah, it's a while since I read it, but yeah, so it doesn't it takes off in a really wild direction, and yeah, yeah, quite shocking in parts, like not shocking in a bad way, but kind of like, yeah, wow, like, yeah, imagine, yeah, he kind of puts you in these, yeah, in the seat of people who are in a very kind of strange situations, and how do they cope with it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And a lot of humor in it as well. I think there's a lot of it's kind of tongue in cheek, but yeah, yeah, fun read. Yeah, I wouldn't mind picking up the sequels to it. Next up then was, oh yeah, so Alan Dean Foster. This is one I picked up in Maine last year. I was in Brunswick, Maine. Yeah, Maine, as in Maine, USA. Uh, like Yanks always say, Los Angeles, California, and like there's only, like, as far as the rest of us are concerned, if you say Los Angeles, that's the Los Angeles everyone thinks of. And maybe there are tons of other Los Angeleses, but yeah. Anyway, that's why I'm saying Brunswick, Maine. I'm sure there are actually a bunch of Brunswickses, but anyway, I'm talking about Brunswick, Maine. Sorry about this. My mate is just running off, but anyway, I picked this up in Brunswick, Maine, USA, Earth. And I had great hopes for this. Voyage to the City of the Dead. Let's see. It began as a search for knowledge and ended with an epic discovery, which is kind of true. But the cover is kind of cool. Yeah, you've got this kind of canyon, and the cover does relate to the story, although I don't know about the planets there, the obligatory background planets there. But you got these kind of two weird geeks, kind of, yeah, they're trying to catch this very 80s looking craft. Um, yeah, interesting book. Like, I mean, sorry about the glare there. How do I get rid of that? So if I do, oh wait, yeah, okay. So yeah, it's set on a planet that is kind of being explored. It's an inhabited planet, and it's inhabited by three different species of intelligent beings. And the geography of the planet really is very unique. So it's kind of, yeah, I'd put it. I think there's a class of SF out there which is kind of where the kind of the geography or the geology or the nature of the world itself is a massive part of the story. And I'd put that, like Ringworld and a few others, but I'd put this in that category. But basically, we're with this couple who seem to be middle aged, and I'm not sure if this was because, well, yeah, like, I mean, I think this might be part of a series, although that's not flagged anywhere on the book. But irritating horse eye. Anyway, yeah, so you're kind of, you join this couple who are kind of, they've been married a long time. They're a pair of researchers, scientists, or whatever, and yeah, yeah, they seem to be going through marital difficulties, and a lot of the book is just taken up with their issues with each other. Um, and I don't know if Alan Dean F was maybe going through some stuff himself at the time, and I don't know. But it's kind of fucking, pardon my French, but it's kind of weird that yeah, a lot of the book is dedicated to the two of these trying to figure out their little issues, and they're in the middle of this, alien planet with like loads of different species going on and loads of challenges and stuff. But yeah, yeah, like, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't, yeah, pretty middle of the road stuff for me now, to be honest with you. But yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be too bothered with reading any of it if there. I presume there was a sequel to this, the way it ends. But yeah, Voyage to the City of the Dead with with marital kind of issues thrown in. So yeah, kind of yeah. Anyway, this is my 2 cents. Next one then was this was a disappointment as well, actually. This is William Gibson and Bruce Sterling, The Difference Engine, and I knew nothing about this. I read the blurb on the back. I can't remember where I got this. I might have got it in a charity shop in Dublin. But I read the blurb on the back and it sounded intriguing. It's like, what would have happened if they'd invented computers basically 100 years before we actually did. And it's basically I think it's like one of the first steampunk type novels, but which is fine. I've nothing against the steampunks, but it's very episodic. There's kind of 3 different stories in here with different characters, all kind of more or less related around the same kind of thread, but it didn't work for me. The world building is really nice, like really well done and very convincing, but it's never really it's just not explained how it all came about, which for me was a bit of a kind of the whole thing in this is that Ada Lovelace, the mathematician or whatever, she's basically like this massive figure. She's like, and she's kind of being blackmailed and stuff, and it all gets a bit kind of, sorry about the glare again. Maybe I should hang on a minute. I'm going to turn off this light here. Will that make it better? Oh no, turn it on. Maybe, anyway. I don't know. I found it a bit frustrating, and there's no real resolution at the end. I felt it just kind of peters out, and nothing was really kind of properly, there's no real kind of, it's just kind of, it's more world building than anything else, so I wasn't mad on it. Maybe if you're a steampunker, you'd be like crazy about it. Next up then was probably one of my top reads of the year, along with The Stars My Destination, and that was William Hope Hodgson's The House on the Borderland. Absolutely, like, I read this on the recommendation of Liminal Spaces, Chris over in Liminal Spaces, and wow, like what a bonkers book, and it's set in Ireland as well, so big gobs, there's that was kind of a little Brucey bonus, but cover on this, it has really nothing to do. There's a house in the book. It doesn't look anything like that house, and there are plants and stuff, but like the plants don't. Anyway, I think it's a pretty lazy cover, but it doesn't matter. It's about the book, and what a fucking mental story. Absolutely mind-bending stuff from he died in World War One, so this was written, I think he died 1916. So this was written pre 1916 anyway. I presume pre-war. He wouldn't have been writing this when he was sitting in the bleeding trenches. Highly recommend it. The prose is, my one gripe with this is that there are commas all over the place, like just, and I know they use commas a lot more back then, but even like, I've read Dickens, and Dickens wasn't. I've read a lot of Dickens, actually. I'm not blowing my own horn here, but I do. Like, I love Dickens, and even Dickens, like, I had a better. He wasn't as comma crazy as Hodgson in this. Like, I mean, there's commas for absolutely no reason. Like, I mean, the house is, as I have said before, surrounded by a huge estate and wild and uncultivated gardens. So you got one sentence with 1, 2, Three commas. It's a short sentence, but anyway, I just kind of learned to filter them out after a while, and after that it was fine. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. But other than that, like that's my only gripe with the book. Yeah, I would highly recommend this to anyone who's into weird fiction, cosmic horror, just yeah, whatever, science fiction. Yeah, really, it's a classic. Really fucking weird stuff, and really make you think. Yeah, yeah. Just really, and actually, it's kind of body horror at the end as well, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, yeah, great stuff. Next up then was two Larry Nivens that I picked up in Maine, Brunswick, USA, the world, last year. Just so we're clear on which Brunswick. So Larry Niven, A Gift from Earth, and editions. Ballantine, yeah. I think this is a first edition. Nice artwork on the cover. Kind of, as you read the book, it kind of does come into relevance. At first, I was like, hey. But yeah, really nice rendering of the metal kind of hull of this spaceship, whatever. I like it. But yeah, this is a fun read. I think it's his second published novel. He published a bunch of shorts in various magazines prior to this, and then he published one novel before this. It might have been the year before, and it's set in his known space universe. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of action. It moves along. It's pretty short, zips along. It does set it up for a sequel. I don't know if there was. I would like to read the sequel if I can find it. Well, if I can bother my ass finding out if there actually was a sequel in the first place, and then maybe finding it. But yeah, it is a lot of fun. Yeah, prose is kind of work a day. Yeah, Larry Niven. I think he's an interesting writer. As in, I think he's kind of an ideas guy rather than a writer's writer, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what sci-fi is all about. You've got a great mix between ideas guys and prose guys and guys who are in between. So yeah, I'd recommend A Gift from Earth. And then I was on this is one I picked up in, along with this one, in Brunswick, Maine, USA, the Earth, or the world. Let's say the Earth. And this is a book of shorts. And it's on Ballantine as well. Cover is kind of cool. A bit weird. Actually, never really looked at the cover. It's the sun. Oh, right. Yeah, so one of the stories in here. Yeah, yeah. Nice selection of shorts in here. One or two of them really stand out. There's one kind of kind of pre-post-apocalyptic one, which is near the end. I really enjoyed that one. There's one or two others which are good as well. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know if I'd, like, I mean, I bought this because it was just literally for nothing. It was like a book or something on a shelf in a secondhand store. I don't know if I'd bother going out and searching for it on the interwebs, but yeah, some good stuff in here. One of them, there's two kind of basically lectures that he turned into essays in here as well. One is about time travel, and the other one is about teleportation. And yeah, they're kind of fun. Yeah, I think they were talks they gave at conferences back in the day. Very smart guy, obviously. But yeah. Then okay, this is non-sci-fi. I picked this up in Wales. I was hiking in Wales back in, it was October. And I picked this up. William Faulkner sound of here. I DNF'd this. I just couldn't. I got halfway into the second chapter. Yeah, I just, yeah, it's I'm not that smart, and this kind of stuff is just beyond me. With the, there's no kind of timeline around it, and it's just this kind of, yeah. Um, I don't know. Like, do kids in America have to read this in high school or whatever? Because I'm guessing if they do, probably put a lot of people off of off of reading. I don't know. Yeah, I've never read Ulysses or any of that kind of other modernist stuff, and just I hate the term modernism. It's like what, like everything's modern. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like modernism, anyway. I feel a rant coming on. So at the moment, and then yeah, so that's basically they're all the books I read. Moment I'm reading World's Best Sci-Fi. This is my bedside book. This is all shorts, obviously, and I've read 3 of these so far. The first one was by who was it by? Some dude I'd never heard of, but it's it. Yeah, it's a fun story about a guy who wakes up who's invisible. He wakes up and he's invisible one morning. He's just an ordinary dude, and the kind of games it out, as in what would it be like, and it's quite humorous. It's all done kind of tongue in cheek. See Me Not, that was a Richard Wilson. I don't know anything about him. Driftglass then by Sam Delaney. Yeah, it was a very nice prose, really nicely written. I think definitely bit of Ernest Hemingway kind of influence going on there. Very nice prose. Not a whole lot happens in the story. It's more like a snapshot of a possible future with altered humans and stuff. And it's all quite very believable, actually, was what I found. But then I read the third one just last night, The Ambassador to Verdammt, by Colin. I'd never heard of Colin Capp. He was a English writer, who actually wrote quite a bit of stuff. And so far, yeah, The Ambassador to Verdammt, yeah, that's my favorite so far. Really, really good short story, and really poses the question of what would it be like in a very realistic and kind of non-sentimental way of what it might be like if we actually do meet aliens from another world, and the possible difficulties that we'd have in comprehending each other. You might, like, yeah, really, really, I recommend that. I think it would make an amazing short, actually, like as in a short film or even a fucking full film. I mean, what was that film? Arrival. God, that was awful. I actually fell asleep during it. Yeah, Colin King. Anyway, so I'm really enjoyed reading this. Obviously just 3 stories in, and at the same time, then when I'm out and about, as in this is my bedside read. I'm reading Out Passage by Janet Morris and Chris Morris, who are obviously husband and wife. Janet Morris, actually, I think she passed away just last year, which is sad. These guys, very interesting couple. And oh yeah, sorry, this is another one that I picked up in Maine, and it's actually signed. That's the first edition, and this is in a secondhand store. Yeah, to Steve, read on them with their signatures, and I'm presuming a very defunct number at the bottom. But yeah, that's cool. Didn't realize it was a signed copy until I got back to my motel and kind of was going through all my purchasings. But yeah, cool. Out Passage. This is a ton of fun. I have to say, I'm where am I? About halfway through at the moment, and holy crap! Like this is just non-stop action, and yeah, it hasn't been one single dull moment in this yet. Touch wood. Oh God, maybe like maybe I'll get to the next chapter and it just turns into like some very philosophical musings or something. But I don't think so. It's a little bit on the kind of military sci-fi side, maybe. Just a kind of a little bit of kind of focus on tech and hardware and stuff, and which is not surprising because if you look these the Morris's is, and by the way, the Chris Morris, that's not Chris Morris that did Jam or The Day Today or any of that. This is a different Chris Morris, just in case. Yeah, yeah. Chris Morris. Yeah, not Chris Morris of Blue Jam and all the rest of it. Just in case. Anyway, yeah, a lot of fun. But like basically, yeah, sorry. This couple, I I've been trying to find some info on them and see what they studied because apparently around the 70s or something they got involved with coming up with I don't know if it was DARPA itself, but some kind of a government agency that was involved in kind of devising non-lethal weapons and stuff like that. And he actually wrote a bunch of papers and stuff. So yeah, they obviously had some kind of techie training. But this is, yeah. So it kind of comes through in this. Yeah, there is a bit of an emphasis on kind of hardware, not so much the spacey stuff as in craft, but more kind of personal hardware, like, imaging sensors and stuff like that, which is interesting, But yeah, well, it's just a really fun read. I'm actually really enjoyed reading this. Like, I mean, yeah, it's I would call it kind of action sci-fi, I guess. Yeah, since I picked it up, there has not been a dull moment. The cover is kind of, she got like their names, and then this kind of, and then you got this dude here. I don't know if it's a dude or a dudette, but this kind of capsule or whatever it is. Yeah, I haven't figured out if it has anything to do with the story yet. But I was wondering, I'm not sure if they wrote a sequel to this. Possibly, like, maybe they wrote a sequel and it might have been Back Passage. So this is some kind of suppository or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that's it. Yeah, that's all I read in 2025. Not a whole lot. Yeah. I did read or listen to like a whole bunch of audiobooks and stuff and audio shorts and whatnot. I don't really include them in here. I'm just including, yeah. Well, I haven't included any of them, but yeah. So that's it. But yeah, what was my favorite of the year? I think, okay, it's got to be between The Stars, My Destination, and The House on the Borderlands. Yeah. Two wildly differing books, but both of them are just like, yeah, hard to pick, hard to pick. This is just such a rollicking adventure, and at the same time, it's it's touching at points, it really is, and then the House on the Borderland is just mind-bending weirdness, and just like the way it ends as well. You just go, what the hell? It's almost like real life, where like nothing, ultimately nothing really makes sense. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens, isn't it? There's no fucking story arc in life, and it's kind of like this. It does wind up, but like there's no resolution. Just like, what the hell, Yeah. If any of that makes sense. Anyway, sorry for ranting on. Yeah. I think, you know what, like this, Stars Out Destination is a classic, but I think if you want to just really kind of go out there, House on the Borderlands, yeah, definitely, and it's like short enough. Yeah, it's a quick enough read. Does drag. There's a part in it where he kind of goes on fast forward, and I did find that bit dragging a bit personally, but at the same time, it's fucking nuts. Like, yeah, it's well worth sticking with it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Hope somebody finds this interesting and or entertaining or both. And Happy New Year. Look after yourselves. Take it easy.